You know what? Hey, Henry, let me know when we're ready to go. Go.
Oh, yeah, it's another episode of the Billy and Merle Show. And tonight, we welcome back the rock star himself, Mr. Billy Morris, back in studio. Been gone for a couple weeks. We were not on the air together 2 weeks ago. You were on vacation this week. Last week, I did my own little thing with the Akron protest. And now he's back. He's on Facebook right now. I can't follow the comments because... I can't follow the comments because I have my phone hooked up to the phone lines, which tonight you can call in at 216-435-5249, extension 713. What's up, Bill? How you been?
What's up, Merle? Glad to be back.
Haven't seen you like 2 weeks, bro. Right. I'm having withdrawals. I'm having Billy Morris withdrawals.
Sorry.
That's okay. That's okay.
Look at that. That's pretty good. 5 viewers already. So I'm glad to be back. You glad to have me back on the Merle Show?
Yeah, I missed you. I like talking with Sean, but it's nothing like having the
star of the show.
The star of the show, Billy Morris. How was vacation? Pretty good?
You know, it was good because I was with my family, I was with my kids. We were in Orlando, doing the vacation family thing. But the thing is it rained almost every day, and you guys had better weather up here.
I know. I called you, and I'm like, what's up? You're like, oh, it's raining. I'm like, it's 67 here.
And then we flew home, and it was 37 when we got back. So I've had nothing but bad weather for like 3 weeks, and I'm over it. But we did come home for a dirt bike race, Penton and I.
Yeah, Mansfield.
Yeah, Mansfield, the first race in Mansfield, and Penton whooped the 65 class. Dad whooped the 50 and older class.
And you finished top 5 overall?
Yeah, well, top 7 out of about 60 guys. And
that's still.
But the cool part about it was my son Penton, who's 11. He was like, he won his class by a mile, and then he's like, "Dad, can I race with the adults?" I'm like, "Well, you're really not supposed to, but yeah, let's sign you up." So out of about 70 guys, he got 37th overall for an 11-year-old.
Still better than Carl.
He would beat Carl.
Carl he's fast, dude. I mean, whenever I was watching him that one week, Carl. That'll never get old.
No.
But whenever I was watching him, man, that one weekend, I was like, he's so fast, and he was winning by 2 minutes. It wasn't even close.
So, the good part about our show is me and you are a good mix of things. I'm rock and rolling dirt bikes and partying with food trucks and stuff, and you take it a little more serious. So I guess this week, you went down to Akron to kind of look into that protest, huh?
Yeah, I went in and got some. I like to look at it from both sides, and I'll go ahead and tell you my personal. This is me personally. This isn't anybody else. This is me personally. I would like to say that I hold both parties accountable. I hold Jalen Walker accountable for what he did, and I also kind of hold Akron police accountable for what they did with excessive force. I think both issues should be looked at, but most importantly, if you look above my head here, it says elect Keith Mills for mayor of Akron, and we've got him on the line right now. But real quick, I asked a lot of candidates one question. I said, would you hold Akron police accountable if they messed up? None of them answered me except for Mr. Mills. And his response really caught my eye. He said, yes, I would, and I would also expect people to hold me accountable for whenever I do wrong. So right now, we'd like to introduce you a candidate for the position of mayor of Akron, Mr. Keith Mills. How you doing, Mr. Mills?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm doing great. And, I've watched a lot of your stuff, and I like what you do. And you're also a teacher at Collinwood High School.
Thank you. Yes, I am up in good old Cleveland.
Absolutely. And then one of the things that I Orlando Joe, you're going to have to call back in a minute.
Yeah, Orlando Joe, we have a very important guest on.
So just hold on, Joe. But I see you're part of the esports program as well. You're the coach?
I am.
Orlando Joe.
Yeah, there it is.
Hold on just 1 second. Well, I just hung up on Keith because Orlando Joe. So hold on, Keith. I'll call you right back.
I'll text Joe. I'll tell Joe.
Yeah, that's okay. Let me. Okay, there we go. Wow. All right, you there, Mr. Mills? Mr. Mills, you there?
Do you have a sign to
I'm here.
Okay, perfect. There we go. Sorry about that. We had an interruption. So you're also the esports coach, and you know, my son is a big time gamer, and I know
Well,
that.
tell everybody what esports is. I didn't know this till you told me.
You didn't know this?
I did not know.
Well, how about we let Keith tell him? Keith, tell everybody what esports is.
Okay, so basically the E is for electronic and sports. So we're basically gaming with people. In this case, Esports Ohio, that's a thing. So here over in Collinwood, online, virtual, we are going against other high schools in the area.
Awesome.
And sometimes, depending on how it works out, even, you know, from down south, like say we'd be in a tournament, we might be facing somebody from Cincinnati.
That's awesome. That's pretty cool. And I know that thing is growing because, you know, like it's involved a lot of kids. Like my son is a big time gamer and he loves that stuff. He gets together with his buddies. They compete all the time. And, you know, you've really taken a job here where you care for kids and you care for our future. So that kind of ties in with what you're trying to do in Akron right now and becoming a new mayor. So tell us what made you want to run for the mayor position in Akron?
So basically, growing up, I had Don Pasquale my entire life. He, you know, abruptly quit 2015. Then, from an Akron citizen perspective, we got fed or told who our next mayor is going to be, and that was Mr. Horgan. And he's been mayor ever since. He said, "Well, I'm not doing this anymore." And so, you know, following Akron politics from, you know, a little kid on, I just liked the news, so that's a thing of mine. I'm like, you know what? It's the same mindset, different faces. These are the same people that we elect time and time again. And what has really changed up here? We're going through the same thing since I was 9 years old.
Exactly.
So a little voice in my head said that, hey, man, you know what? If no one else is going to stand up, you got to do it, bro. So that's what I did, and now I'm here.
Right. And speaking of that, the mayor of Akron really turned some heads the wrong way whenever the protest started. And he started telling people, well, you can protest, but you have to do it over here. And you can't go here and you can't go there. And that's not the point of the protest. You know, like I told people the other day, whenever they said these people need to get out of the streets and stop protesting. Well, Dr. King didn't listen, and thank God he didn't, because we wouldn't be where we are today. Can you imagine if just Dr. Martin Luther King just shut up and went home and listened and just got out of the streets? But what is your thoughts on telling people where they can and can't protest?
So a protest is supposed to make people who don't get it a little uncomfortable. It's supposed to draw attention. It's supposed to open eyes. So to tell people that, hey, you can only do it in this little box is kind of disrespectful, and it's trying for them, not the protesters, but the people in charge to control the narrative and to silence any people speaking out against it. You know, it kind of makes me, you know, I don't know if you ever watched the movie The Jerk.
Yep.
It's an older movie, of course. But, you know, when Nabin or whatever is, you know, on the carnival, he's like, hey, you can win this prize, but it's really a little tiny box of prizes.
Right.
So it kind of makes me think of that. You know, you're kind of just, you know, we give you the illusion that you can actually go out here and just protest like a normal protest should be. But we're actually trying to put you in this little box. And people, you know, people from the community, they're hurt. And continuing to do things like that just puts more of a wedge between the citizens and the police, the citizens and the elected officials. It makes no sense whatsoever. You have to understand from all sides how people operate and how they work.
Right, and that's another thing I was gonna say is like I went down there last week and covered, and I know what you're talking about. It's just a little street in front of the police station. They got the barricades up. It's like a tiny block. It's just one block, and that, I mean, really, you want all those people just to stand in one spot? But you touched on something very important. Is there is a distance between officers and citizens, and elected official and citizens, and I felt like that. Whenever they did come out with the decision they weren't going to press any charges against the 8 officers, I felt like that was an opportunity for the mayor to come out and say, hey, listen, I know you may not like this, but let's talk. Let's have a day where we all meet together and I'll answer your questions. But instead, he just made excuses and said, well, this is the decision and we're moving on. And that really rubbed people the wrong way. And I saw that, you didn't like that decision as well. What is your goal if you become mayor of Akron? What is the things that you want to accomplish in the next 4 years?
If becoming mayor, it's going to be a heck of a ride for the next 4 years because we have a lot of work to do. We have to repair these community relations. We have to not just say words like your typical politician, but actually fix it. Stop complaining about the tire being flat and let's actually change it. I want to make sure that we have transparency and that we're open. Obviously, you see it right here. I'm on social media all the time. You reach out and I reach right back. And that's what I'll do. One of the first steps, I'm already doing it as the next mayor. I want to make sure that, our officers actually know our citizens. They're not the enemy.
Right.
And, I really want to ingrain that in that department. We have a lot of good older cops. It's just that, maybe the new bunch may not be getting it. Because, I've known them. I've worked in Akron Public Schools. I know some of the older officers. I went down and trained with them. We were down there training in Lane Field when, I took the test to become a APD cop. So we have a lot of good old heads down there. It's just that some of the new ones just don't get it. And there's a thing, and it's in the Ohio Constitution or whatever. We cannot solely hire people from Akron. We have to open up the test, the civil service exam, to people outside of Akron. So there's a disconnect there.
Yeah,
people from outside Akron may not.
Exactly. And that's another thing is like, I feel like sometimes it's a little too easy to be a police officer. And I know there's a shortage. I do understand that. But I've always said this. I've always said that to become a police officer, because if you want to become an FBI agent or a U.S. Marshal, they look at your family's history. They look at everything before you can even join. And plus, it's hard to get in there. But yet, a police officer, it's like 6 weeks. Here you go.
Yeah. The FBI, you got to be a lawyer, even to go to Quantico.
Right.
You got to be a lawyer now.
Right. And that's the thing is like, I feel like what we should have, I think we should have where you have to go 2 years criminal justice, 6 months training, and a mental health evaluation to be a police officer, to be able to handle situations like that.
That's beyond reasonable.
Yeah, that's beyond reasonable.
If you guys,
oh yeah, it's beyond reasonable. Could you imagine? So if you step in the shoes of an officer, you have to. You probably hear some of the most horrible things, and you got to go through. And it's not just get wrapped up in this horrible jail incident. I'm talking about kids, and I'm talking about domestic issues, and I'm talking about just all kinds of crazy stuff. And I'm sorry, and as guys, we sometimes operate out of jars. We stuff it into a jar and we bury it.
But getting back to the situation,
there's not enough jars.
The situation that happened, didn't the cops do what they were trained to do? What policy is? I personally think it was excessive, the number of shots that were shot, but didn't they get cleared because they just did what they were supposed to be trained to do? Just like any other police station across the country?
Yeah, I mean, I know that a lot of places use that, method, but like the thing is like there was 94 shots total. 70 shots were just from 4 officers. So those 4 officers unloaded the clip, and then the other 4 officers decided they were going to shoot 24 more bullets. But the sad thing is whenever they got up to Jalen Walker's body, he was already dead, and they handcuffed him.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so, like, that's where I'm talking about. If me and you were defending our home, and someone broke in, and we shot maybe 4 or 5 shots, and they decided, hey, that's excessive, we're going to prison for the rest of our lives. But not all cops are bad, though. And I do appreciate the good cops out there. But I do think we need to start holding our officers accountable for their actions whenever they do mess up. What about?
Yeah. So there's a Pyle Castle, the doctrine. If you have to prove that they were a threat to you as a homeowner to kill them or to stop them. But if they can prove that they're running away, then yes, you're going to have a problem. You might be going to jail.
Right. Exactly. Well, Mr. Mills,
Right.
I know that the election is next Tuesday. We got to get on to our next guest. I'll give you the
sure.
I'll give you the platform here, and you can give your final speech here for to become the next mayor of Akron.
Definitely. I appreciate that. It's not just the police community relations I want to fix. I want to also fix our housing. We have a lot of dilapidated housing. I want to actually purchase those houses as a city and sell them back to people who want to be first-time home buyers. And I'm talking about $50,000, $60,000 houses. I'm not talking about $220,000 houses. The median income, I think, in Akron is like $34,000. We can't afford those $220,000 houses. I want to make sure our roads are actually paved and not just the ones that are mainly traveled on. I want to make sure that we have recreation programs for our kids, and I want to work more closely with Akron Public Schools and our private schools, our Catholic schools. I want to make sure that we actually create programming so it keeps kids off of the streets, like those esports programs. And I want to make sure that everyone, doesn't matter what political affiliation, that everyone's actually heard in this city and they actually are welcomed at the table, so we can actually get real things done around here. Instead of just talking about it, we got to be about it.
All right. Well, there you have it from Keith Mills. He's going to be hopefully the next mayor of Akron.
And you have the Billy and Merle Show endorsement. Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
And when you win, we'll bring the band down there for the celebration party. How's that?
Let's do it.
Little Kid Wicked rocking you.
His mom was a big hair metal fan. He told me, he's like, my mom used to grow up listening to Warrant, Quiet Riot, and all that. So
all right, cool mom.
Yep, Great White, Def Leppard.
Awesome. All right, Keith, thank you so much, and best of luck next Tuesday night.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
All right,
Keith Mills for mayor, ladies and gentlemen, mayor of Akron. Oh, nice guy, real nice guy. And he's like that even online.
Sincere.
He's down to earth.
Sincere.
And you notice what he said? He said, I'm not a typical politician. I'm just a down to earth guy that cares about my city. Good luck, man. I hope you win. I really do.
Me too. You gonna go out and vote?
Yeah, well, I can't vote for the mayor of Akron. I don't live in Akron. But I mean, I do care about my local cities. You know, like I care about Cleveland. Like it's a part of you. You know what I mean? Just because you don't live directly in the city, when you go down and you take your kids to ball games and you spend time at restaurants and bars, you know, you kind of care about your city. Of course
you do.
And you want it to, and he's right about the roads. Man, they are rough.
I was going to say, you're going to get Route 8 done and 77 south.
I always joke around and say that Akron always celebrates Halloween year-round because they have the candy corns up on the roads all the time.
That's not funny at all.
I know. It's a dad joke.
All right, well, we're going to move on to our next guest, and I'm excited about this because this is right up my alley, and this is the motorcycle guy, and he has a great full-color magazine called Reasons to Ride. And we're going to pull up here our good friend Derek, which is in my phone, Biker Derek.
Around this way.
It don't matter, man. It's rock and roll. It's motorcycles. You come any way you want.
Right.
Probably should have came my way. It's a little deeper.
Skinny guys on this side.
Right.
So Derek's got a great magazine. He holds a lot of great biker events, bike rallies, bike nights at clubs. My band is playing a few of them this year. I'm glad to do it. And Derek's a big supporter of the Billy Morris and the Sunset Strip. So I said, you know what? Let's get him on the show and talk about everything. So, Derek, welcome to the Billy and Merle Show.
Well, I appreciate it. So Billy's back in town. So am I still auditioning for his spot?
You might be. I mean,
sweet. There we go.
There you go.
All right.
Well, you know what? You could get it because we're the two good-looking guys and he's the ugly one.
Yeah, the shy, quiet guys. That's all good.
Right.
Yeah, it's been a few years we've been doing this stuff, haven't we?
Yeah. So
around Cleveland and such, and getting around, and Yeah, it kind of evolved over the years, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, we know how to do it. We know what we're doing, and you got a good turnout for a lot of your events.
Yep.
A couple of them that I'm playing this year, we could just talk about right now. Zeppy's out in, is it Newberry, right?
It's out in Newberry, just south of Chardon. And they've been going on like 10 years. We've been doing bike nights out there. It's pretty cool. And we got like a bike show out there. We got all kinds. We do a couple big parties throughout the summer. But with a lot of the really cool bike events, especially the local regional ones that we really love, I mean, everybody gets out there. I mean, it's the bikes, but it's the riders, and it's like an extended family.
And that's what
cool.
I talk about dirt bike racing too. It's not just the race.
Yep.
It's like the ride there, unloading the bikes in the pits, talking to your buddies around the bikes, talking about fixing the bikes, maintaining your bike at home. It's a whole motorcycle lifestyle.
Dude, some of our best memories are from dirt biking.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Wide Earth to Sports thing we used to have, like
So-
some of the greatest skits ever, and some of the. But and remember, people would be like mad at Carl if he wouldn't put it up Sunday night because they're like,
Yeah.
they're like, dude, every Sunday night I get and sit down with my family and we make dinner and we watch the Wide Earth to Sports. Why
So,
isn't
Derek,
Carl posting it?
we would do these dirt bike races, and we would have a camcorder, and we were the original, like, funny guys in the truck, like the reality show.
Right.
And we all had personalities. We raced and had fun, and then we posted, and everybody loved it.
Yeah. That's
cool.
Just time, kids took over, time
Right.
took over, women took over.
Yep.
Somehow adulthood got in there and responsibilities. Like, what's up with that?
Yeah. Right.
We're fighting it.
Responsibility.
Like we're
Yes.
fighting that as long as I can. But yeah, it's pretty cool. I think there's something about the community. I could talk all day about this, one of my favorite subjects, but I think there's something about being a biker, whether you're on a track or on the road, that you find a core to commonality with other folks. And I think there's something about if you're on a motorcycle, you jump on the road, you go out, you're a little more vulnerable. You're like, things happen. You're going to have a breakdown, and then you're out there on your own. So there's a sense of brotherhood, and people work together. And it's the same kind of thing if you're at a track, you're out in the middle of a trail, you're out on the road. That sense of, hey, how do I get this done? And then your brother's next to you, a guy you don't even know his name, but he's got that same.
Like, dude, you have a spark plug? I'm like, oh yeah, what do you need? Oh, here you go.
Yeah, you don't even know their
Can
name.
I give you
but they're-
$20? No, just take it. Get on the track. Yeah,
Like that's
yeah.
so cool, you
Yeah.
know. And that's one of those things. I mean, I got 1,000 stories about that. Being stuck in a rain underneath a bridge, and some guy with his truck comes by and throws me a jacket. Like, wait,
Yeah.
what? Like, oh yeah, dude, here, come on, here, take this stuff. Like, I feel bad with this stuff. Or people that have come out and do all kinds of things. And I think that's pretty cool. That's to be honest, a lot of what we do is with charity events and we, Reason to Ride. That's one of the things I got into is like I'm all about like get out there, stand for something. And I think it is because you have that charitable aspect, the idea of helping out, it's up against the world, but you got a commonality. We're all in this together, which
Absolutely.
is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Not to get all zen
No.
or anything, but I think that's a theme. That's why I think so many people get into it. And how many times do you run into people that you haven't seen for years? But it's just like you just stepped right off the track with them, and there they are. Like,
Dude, we
just
went
like,
down to Florida one time, and I get out of nowhere, this guy's like, Billy. And we're like, what? And turn around, and like we're in the middle of Daytona Bike Week, and there's like two guys that know Billy from playing in Warrant and stuff. And he's just like, I'm famous. but I mean,
famous.
but it's true. Like anywhere you go, and it's
And just
awesome.
like Sunday, we did an event together out at Johnny K's in Elyria, and it was dirt bikers, it was street riders, it was vintage bikers, it was
Right.
a whole bunch of people, but they had the one thing in common, and everybody talked. Some people come to my bikes, we talked. We were talking about other people. It was just it's a good community, and it's a good scene to be involved in.
the other thing I love about it too is that, I don't know, does Trevor watch this? I don't know, because last time I saw him, we had some funny times. And it's funny because you're transported like, man, the last time I saw you, like, oh, yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
You
you
it's
remember
kind of
back,
crazy
yeah.
now. You're like, all
Right.
right, you're like transported. And you catch up, and it's just like, hey, it's like you just reconnected
Like you
with
never,
him, which is cool.
yeah. Like Trevor used to come over to my house for guitar lessons.
Yeah.
That was 10 years ago. Now I'm calling Trevor like, dude, I need some dirt bike lessons for my kid. So it all comes back around, and
Right.
we talk like we haven't missed each other, but we haven't really seen each other in 10 years. So
And it just, there's so many different common things. Like I ran into a guy actually at the Piston Power Show. He set up as part of my booth, and somehow your name came up, JP Douglas. And we're talking, he's like, oh yeah, I used to record with him and stuff over the studio. I'm like, what? Like, how is that? He's building a chopper. He's my booth. I'm like, Billy, I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I used to do all kinds of stuff with him. And that's just cool. And I mean, that's the reason I love it. We get in the magazine and everybody's all about like, hey, it's just the machine. No, it's really not.
Right.
It's the person standing behind it. And that's where, people are like, you get some guy shows up with $100,000 rig, and it gets.
Oh boy.
I'm getting a message from my really close friend Craig Smith, and we've been racing dirt bikes together for 20 years. And he just goes, Billy throws mud at people. One time we were racing in Mansfield. I think I come around and I hit him. We both wiped out. He got up. He starts tossing mud at me. I'm throwing mud back at him. We get back on our bikes and go. We laugh about it in the pits, and we talk about it years later.
Yeah, I mean, dude, Craig Smith, that guy's class act, and those are some of the best memories we've had going to GNCC racing was with him.
Parking next to him.
Watching him lay down in the back of the truck.
Another thing, Craig's father, Mr. Smith,
yeah,
for years he would go around and have his camera and snap pictures of everybody. And then the next race he'd have an envelope with Billy's name on it, Carl's name on it, Mullet Bob's name on it. And it was like, I've got a stack of this many pictures.
Right.
That's going to last a lifetime.
And that was cool too. He used to, like anybody, he knew all the riders. Cool. And sometimes you'd have 200 riders out there. He knew every one of them, and he'd just write their name on an envelope. Here's your pictures. And like, you pull them open, and you're like, wow, that's really good.
That's cool.
So let's talk about the magazine. So you were involved in another magazine which kind of limited you. I don't know if you want to mention that magazine, but
yeah, I'm not really supposed to, but it's
it's okay. But you decided to break off on your own, and now this is your magazine.
Yeah, this is all us. And to be honest, we had started on our own anyways before, so it was originally our concept. And it's not like we're trendsetters there. We just had no idea what we were doing. So we just said, hey, what would it take to make a really cool magazine? What would it take to make something that is worth picking up? Yeah. That was the big thing. I mean, I had no idea what I was doing. When we started doing this, I was a promotions marketing person, but I was promoting bars and restaurants and bands and stuff. And then somebody's like, hey, we're going to do this motorcycle magazine. We're going to produce this magazine. And I was got a high school newspaper, I think, for a bit because it was a good excuse to get out of class and meet girls from other schools. I'm like, all right, I'm on that.
I'm in.
Somehow that was my experience justified me getting in and starting a magazine, I guess. So we started going. We went with this, and really came up with this idea of just networking with people. I was thinking about when you talk about the pictures. When I first started doing this, I took pictures of everybody. Every ride I went to, I took pictures of absolutely everybody. I went to races, I took pictures of everybody there. And then we'd load it up and put it on Facebook and such. And we'd tag it up, and I'd watermark them all over the place. And after a while, everybody would take those pictures, and they're all their Facebook pictures.
Yeah.
And I get pictures of everybody. Now, 10 years later, or 12, 15 years, or whatever later, we literally have close to 400,000 photos.
Wow.
Which is just ridiculous. We have 200,000 plus people on our Facebook page.
Yeah.
And a lot of it's all because of the photo thing. It's all organic. But it is. Like the pictures and stuff, you're standing there taking the pictures. And that's really what we're known for is like a lot of the stuff. We cover the events. And then we get involved. And a lot of it is just us catching up with good people.
And if you find the magazine, where can they find the magazine at? Most motorcycle stores, right?
Yeah, a lot of the dealerships, the shops, bars, even we're in some ice cream shops and stuff. Online is the big thing too. Of course, I'm a big believer in print magazine. I
was about to say it is a beautiful full color magazine, and there's some great pictures.
And then you got
calendar in there.
You got a calendar in there telling you about upcoming events. I like that, man.
And guys, sometimes people like pull this out and they stick them in their lockers or their places, and it's a lot of things. But the idea of it just being an experience, we do a lot online, and we have 30,000 people read the magazine every single month in print, which is cool. Yeah. But 400,000 read it digitally.
Click on it. That's what
they click on it and stuff, and there's all kinds of cool things. Like you can click on an ad, it takes you to that website, and you can have it interactive. You can do all kinds of cool things. But there's still something about having a magazine in your hand. You turn the page, you don't know what it is, and here's something is about the Wild Turkey Festival. I didn't put a search in, I didn't click on it, and here's the information on it. Like that's pretty cool.
Yeah, and you've got all the biker events. They're not just biker events. They're just good time events.
Yep.
And then there's all the dealers you work with. There's tattoo artists in there. It's full color. It comes out. It's free. It comes out monthly.
Yep.
Yeah.
And we try to expand the focus a little bit. We put like hill climb races for years. We've been doing there.
That's
so
awesome.
We do the motocross, the hair scrambles, things like that. But like things like hill climbs, like I was just talking to folks from the Muskegon Motorcycle Club last night, and we're going to be doing some stuff with them this year. And they got a club. For 75 years, they've been doing like these hill climb races and stuff like that, and like Data Motorcycle Club in Ohio. Like these guys have been doing this for so long, but it's still kind of a regional thing. I don't know if you guys have ever been to a hill climb race. It's insane. It's one of those things you're like, okay,
vintage days.
Well, no, That's not a hill climb.
Oh,
I'm going to
okay.
tell you this, Derek. I used to go to Cloverleaf Speedway back in the day with my dad and watch hill climbs and stock car races and motocross. And somewhere in my mom's closet are some old Super 8 reels that I got to get transferred. And there are some old Cloverleaf Speedway racing on those reels.
That'd be sweet. I'd love to hear that. See those. They, it's one of those things where you do the hill climbs and it's this old school. Yeah, we're gonna take a motorcycle. We're gonna do everything we can to jack it up, and we're gonna take a motorcycle, turn it into a rocket ship, shoot it straight up the hill, and then hold on as far as you can.
And if you fall off, you're going to get killed because the bike's going to tumble back on top of you.
Oh, it's crazy. And honestly, I don't make light of this, but
Yeah.
the 2 out of the first 3 years that we did the hill climb races, someone died on the hill.
Oh, wow.
And again,
What do you call the guys with the hooks that hook the bikes? There's a name for them.
I don't know.
So there's guys, the bike flies, and then to get up the hill as far as you can, you kind of kick the bike away from you, and that's how far you can go. And then there's guys up there with ropes and hooks, and they try to hook the bike before it tumbles back down the hill.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
well,
that's
some of the ones like the staircase. It's each of the hills has their own little twist to it. So that's part of the thing. Like I worked with Oregonia, and not only you get up the top, but then guess what? There's the other side afterwards. And then once you're at the top, like how do you get back down? We had a year that there was so much mud and everything there. It wasn't an issue of just getting the bikes up there, but how do you get back down? Like they had no way down. Like it was crazy. But it's some of those things you got to see. And so we put things like that. We put those things like flat track. Obviously, flat track's had a big revival now.
Yeah.
But like 10 years ago, it was just kind of hit in the seam. So we put that stuff out there. Encourage people to get out there and experience it. Bring your kids out there. Get the kids off the the Xbox and stuff. Not there's anything wrong with that, but just something else to experience.
Something else
and
besides
get 'em
the
out there.
games.
So is the fair cross happening this year? The motocross, all the county fairs happening?
Some of them are, some are. Like
my-
they're doing flat track
Yeah,
and
my
dirt tracks.
son Penton was like, Dad, I want to race the fair cross. I'm
Yeah.
like, well, let's try it out.
Those are fun. And for me, my son's special needs, and he loves the dirt bikes and the tractor pools and stuff like that. So
Well, the good thing
I
about
love the flat track
we
racing.
took his boy Keith to Mansfield, where my club is, and
Oh yeah,
and
it was a good time.
they gave him a little medal, didn't they?
Yeah,
And he loved
it was cool. They gave him a little victory lap and get choked up talking about it, but it was so awesome. Like they took him around on a victory lap and then they created their own little class for him and gave him a
awesome.
medal. And dude, that's what. And shout out to Mansfield Motorcycle Club, family oriented. Love that place. And,
Yeah,
and that's what it's all about. Is going out and having fun.
there's so many little clubs like that. Like just
Right.
in the dirt bikes, there's Mansfield, there's Amherst Meadowlarks, there's the Galleon Rough Riders. They're everywhere.
Everywhere.
And if you follow, and there's a great league that we raced for years called CRA, Competition Riders of America, and they got a ton of tracks. And that's just in the dirt bike and motocross and hare scramble scene. And in your magazine, you'll probably be able to find where the hill climbs are,
Right.
where all the other events are. So
And that's what we try to do is actually for all those smaller organizations, we give them really it's almost like a co-op. We do real inexpensive advertising and we get the message out there. And frankly, we subsidize the nonprofits heavily. And thanks to like some of our sponsors, we got Michigan Biker Law up in Michigan, we got Progressive.
Yeah,
folks
go ahead
that
and
step
shout
up.
out all your sponsors if you want
I'll
tonight.
tell you, great folks. And, it's funny because we deal with a lot of different corporate folks. And sometimes it's funny, you talk to folks that spend millions of dollars on billboards or something else or doing that. And you'd think that you were pulling out, like asking them to donate an organ to help support a local organization.
Yeah.
And then other folks, like, again, Michigan Biker Law, awesome organization. And Larry Maitland and Shelley, great folks. And they invest in the community, the riding community. And that's something that we've always tried to do. Like one of the things I gave an example when we first started doing the magazine. We could get billboards on the side of the freeway and say, we rock.
Right.
Reasons to Ride rocks. Come on, check us out. Have our Facebook page, whatever. But what does that accomplish? We get the impression out there, but there's nothing behind it.
Right.
Instead, we could go and support a nonprofit. We give away, ads to different organizations. Every year we do hundreds of organizations and different nonprofit events in here for free. And the idea is we get the message out there. We help with this stuff. And it's not just being warm and fuzzy and I'm a nice guy. It's that also that my word's out there. And if we're supporting a good organization and we follow through and we help them to be a success, they're going to say, hey, these guys really helped us out and they're solid. They're legit. They get to see what we're like. When we're out there helping host an event, if we do a charity bike show, like we do with Akron Bikers for Boobs, we do a bike show for them. Great organization. They come to the event, we put it on, they come for Akron Bikers for Boobs, and then they have a great time with us. And
Right.
they walk away helping a charity, Stewart's Caring Center, great folks. And they walk away and go, man, Reasons to Ride rocks. Like, that's cool.
Yeah.
And it's a lot more effective than the billboard, and the community's
Yeah.
helped out with it, which is great.
And the thing you pointed out the most is that caught my attention there was you talked about the reason behind it. And there's so many people out there who do like projects or start something like you have, and then they just get lost in it, and it just becomes about money and corporate and all that. You actually care, and the fact that you've been doing this 15 years plus.
Yeah.
I mean, and you still have that same passion behind it. That speaks volumes about your magazine and what you're all about. And I could see that the reason why you're successful is because you actually care what you're promoting here.
Yeah, and I have fun with it. And it's one of those things where, I got young kids and stuff that gives me the flexibility to get out there and I do stuff with them. And hopefully, they come to events with me. And I believe in what we do. But at the same time, we can impact and help so many people, which is
Right.
pretty cool. Because there's a lot of people out there that have a cause and they want to do a fundraiser. They want to do this and that. They just don't know what to do.
Yeah.
So then they struggle along. We can come along. And it's not that I'm that smart. I've just been doing this.
Yeah.
And I've been around smarter people than me.
Right.
So I take notes and I'm like, okay, this works and this doesn't work. And then we can help them have a successful event, which is pretty cool.
Well,
Yeah.
and all your Facebook followers help as well.
Oh, absolutely.
Right.
And that's it. I throw it out there like, hey, yeah, we need this, or this. And then bang, bang, bang. People
Speaking
step up.
of a event you're going to be behind, we have an event that we're going to do together, right?
Which one's that?
The Janie Lane Tribute Show.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's going to be a good time.
So if anybody knows, back in the day, I used to play lead guitar for the rock and roll band Warrant, and the lead vocalist, his name was Janie Lane.
Sorry.
And tragically passed away, I think 2012, 14.
Been that long?
Yeah,
Wow.
it's been a long time. So every year or so, I try to do a tribute show to the man that made my rock and roll dreams come true. And this year, it's going to be May 20th at Temple Live, which is the Masonic Temple in downtown Cleveland. And Derek was cool enough to jump aboard. He made a great poster, man. That was talent there.
Had fun
That was
doing
an
that.
awesome poster. But you're going to be behind the show, and we're just going to spread the word. And the cool part about this year is every year we do it in his honor, and I play a bunch of his songs that he wrote, and we do our best to play them. But this year's special because we got the girl from the Cherry Pie video, Bobby Brown, coming into town. So if you want to meet Bobby Brown, come on out to Temple Live.
She's kind of a character, too.
You forgot one part, though. This is the cool part to me. Janie Lane's family wants you to do this. They
Right.
chose you.
Right.
And we all know you're not
they
the original
support me.
guitar player, but you had such an impact on Janie's life those few years that you played together that they see that in you and that you're a good dude, and they decided we want Billy Morris to pay tribute to Janie. That's awesome, dude.
And
You should take pride in that.
I do take pride in that. And it's like, I also want to make it known that I'm not making a dime from this.
Right.
All the money is going to go to his daughters, which it should go to him, to his daughters,
Right.
Taylor and Madison. And I'm going to use some of the money to pay for their airline flights in, but they're going to be here. His brother Rick, who played the intro to Uncle Tom's Cabin, the unique Delta Blues, sloppy, muddy, Delta Blues intro. He's going to be up on stage jamming with us. And we have a little bit of a set list, but whenever I play, it's never a regimented thing. It's like, all right, let's start this party. I learned from Janie Lane that it's a party. I'm the host of the party, and we're all going to have a good time, listen to some great music, talk about some stories on stage, and then have a memorable show. It's just not regimented. It's going to take on a life of its own.
It's an experience.
It's
And I
an
think
experience.
That's pretty cool. You can really tell when you get some of the performers, they project in the crowd, they draw everybody in, and you're just part of the show.
Right.
You're part of it. The passion's there. Everybody's going, and you're rock and rolling with Billy Morris, and that's cool as heck. And that's absolutely, I think that's, some people have it. They're performers, they engage people, and that's a cool thing.
I've always had that, quality of being able to entertain, being, a limited vocalist. But to be able to stand next to Janie Lane for 5 years and watch him run a show. And he taught me, he didn't really say anything. I just stood next to the guy and watched him for 5 years. He taught me that, it's a party and people want to come, forget about their problems. That's with 80s music, right?
Not today's music.
Not today's music. The 80s rock, they want to forget about their problems. They want to have a beer. They want to throw their fists in the air, sing along with their favorite songs, and forget about the problems for that 60 minutes. That's what I try to do.
No, you're right. I mean, like speaking of today, you go to a concert today, it's almost like a political rally. Like they stop in the middle of the show and start spreading their political views. I'm not there to hear about that. I'm there to forget about politics. I'm there to forget about work. I'm there to forget about all my financial problems. And I'm there to unravel on a few cold beverages and have a good time. And that's what the 80s, like you said, that's what the 80s was all about was, hey, come have a party with us. Don't just come watch us. Come party with us.
Yeah. And I would like to make mention that tickets for that show, you can go to Masonic Temple Live, Masonic Cleveland, whatever it is. But they're $19.89 advance the year that Warrant's first record came out.
That's cool.
That's awesome.
That's kind of cool. Special guest, the band Tough, who I also play lead guitar with.
Wait a minute. What?
And we'll talk about that. And then an all-girl band named Medusa is opening. Bobby Brown from the Cherry Pie video will be there, and who knows who else will show up.
It's a cool venue, too. If you haven't seen it.
Yeah.
Oh, man, that place.
Somebody told me that was the original home of the Cleveland Orchestra.
It's beautiful, yeah.
I got to do Showtime Boxing there.
Yeah.
I got to do my first ever on live. I used to be a DJ, and I used to do on live, my first ever on television DJ event. I did Showtime Boxing. All the boxers came out. And that was a mess, dude, because whenever I got there, because it was like last minute, and the boxers were coming in last minute, and I'm like, what do I play when you come out? And then they're like, oh, I want this song, I want this. So luckily, this guy, Steve, went around, and he took all their songs, and he put it on a drive, and then downloaded it to my computer. But, it was a mess for, an hour and a half, dude. They're trying to get in the mood of fighting and everything.
So how many Eye of the Tigers did you get?
Well, actually, the most unique one was this dude's like, bro, I don't want no music. And I'm like, what? He's like, I want to come out dead silent. And whenever he did that, then I recorded it and went back and watched it. And whenever he did that, the announcer was like, oh, look at this dude. He thinks he's so tough. He's coming out with no music. But it made a big impact. He ended up knocking the guy out. But, it was pretty cool. The only guy without music, and he ends up winning.
That's cool.
But, yeah, that was a good time. That's a great venue. I love that place. Can't wait till we get this show on the road. I'm excited.
Yeah,
see all my
good
see
day.
Stevie Rochelle. Can't wait. I haven't seen Stevie in 5 years.
Yeah. Well, Derek, anything else you want to say about the magazine? Any events you want to talk about? I think we covered the shows I'm doing for you this summer.
You got some merch too.
Oh, I got a couple shirts for you guys. Some of you get stuff up there as well, and we got those online.
So you got a blessing of the bikes coming up?
We got a blessing of bikes coming up north. We got a bunch of things all over the place. Ohio Bike Week's coming up at the end of May.
Who's playing at Ohio Bike Week? Oh, I'm not.
But the cool thing about Ohio Bike Week is, and I can laugh about this. I'm not sure they really know who yet. So who knows? They got a big dry erase board right now.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding out there, but you never know. And then, but I'll tell you where you are. And we got to make sure. I'm going to write this down someplace. Is Thunder on the Strip.
Oh, so yeah. That's a big one.
Yeah, we're going to be announcing this later on that, get Billy out there and.
So we're gonna have our own little stage area with some killer bands. Smoking Rock and Roll Food Truck will be out there. It's out in Geneva. We'll be making that announcement.
It's right on the water. We got the best location on the Strip, right at the landing, Marketplace Landing by the Old Firehouse Winery, at the Sunset Bar. It's right on the water, and we've been doing this for a couple of years. We have a bike show, probably the best rided bike show, one of the best in the country, I believe. Just right on the water, awesome turnout.
Less than an hour from Cleveland.
Oh yeah, not even 45 minutes east, straight shot out 90, and it's just a blast. If you have never been to Thunder on the Strip, it hands down, everybody that goes there, that's their favorite rally.
Yeah,
it's like a little hometown.
It's like when you come to Geneva, and you turn that corner and you're driving down like an old school carnival.
It's like going back in time.
I mean, it's
silly.
Time stood still.
They got a shooting gallery there. It's not allowed now. They don't shoot there, but a 22 caliber shooting gallery. The goofiest stuff. They got penny arcades. They got all this stuff up there. It's just a blast.
Is Eddie's hamburger stand?
Eddie's still there, and then pizza shops up and down, and.
And the Cove in Geneva, one of the most famous rock clubs in the area, still going strong. Pete Jr.'s doing a great job out there.
Still the same wallpaper, I think, that's from in there. So
and there's if you go in the Cove in Geneva on the lake, you could go Right when you walk in, turn around and look up, and there's a Kid Wicked poster of me 30 years ago. Same long hair.
She never bring up Kid Wicked. Like, I don't understand that. Like, how come I never hear you talk about that at all?
Well, it's been a long time, but I've got some old Kid Wicked CDs and cassettes I'm about to re-release, and you and I are going to talk about our record label endeavor down the line.
Boom.
Also,
yeah.
there's a Slammin' Gladys, or no, there's Risque, which is Dave Brooks from Breakfast Club. There's a Risque poster, and on another wall, there's a poster of Tough.
Oh,
That's
pretty
sweet.
cool.
Yeah.
Now, the Cove's one of those legendary clubs. It's just a cool place, cool venue, and Geneva's just a blast.
Yeah, I like Geneva. I love that place.
I tell people all the time, it doesn't matter if it snows that weekend. There's still 6 bikes for every car in the town.
Right.
Everybody comes out, just has a blast. And then it's one big giant crowd where you run into people, everybody's brothers and sisters, just a great time.
Yeah.
And we're excited about rocking with you out there at
We're
the end of the
doing it.
summer. We got events all over the place. We're going out to Michigan for Rebel Road in Muskegon, which is going to be a blast. We got Bikes on the Bricks in Flint. We got things all over the place, which is pretty cool. And you can go, our Facebook page is Reasons to Ride. We got all the events listed on there, local, Michigan, Pennsylvania, Ohio. We're going down south. We got things in Florida going on. It's pretty cool.
Wow, you're a busy guy. Reasons to Ride.
Reasons to Ride.
Is that the website?
It's reasonstoride.com, and then Facebook, Reasons to Ride. And then there's also smaller pages that are for each of the states. Reasons to Ride, Michigan and Ohio. There's an Appalachia one. And, you get the magazines around and such. And, again, we do this with the support of our sponsors.
Dude, this is huge, man.
Yeah,
This is great.
huge.
I appreciate you having me on here. I've been meaning to come out here. We were talking about it and stuff, and that's what we talked about the other day. I'm like, I just need to get out here.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, I
this
think
is cool. Cool
this
setup,
might
too.
just morph into a Reasons to Ride, podcast.
Boom. I'm all about it. This is cool.
Absolutely.
Let's
dude.
do it.
You guys got a setup here. This is really cool.
Yeah.
I like the
and
green
then,
screen man here.
Yeah, and then you could spread the word to go to our Billy and Merle Show page and rewatch this if people didn't catch it.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
going to
'cause
push
it's
this
gonna
all
be
over.
posted. Yeah.
Yeah.
Awesome.
We got some good folks, and we have a lot of supporters that get it out there, which is cool. And, again, our corporate folks, Mission Biker Law, Progressive, local companies done big, which is cool. And we couldn't do what we do without them.
So normally we say goodbye to our guest and finish the show, but you're just going to ride the show out with us. So
Sweet.
let's just
There you
talk.
go.
You're
Hey,
good.
by the way, you speaking of riding buddies, you brought 2 of your sidekicks today.
Oh, yeah. Cole and Tyler here.
Yeah, that's your boys.
You guys want to say hi?
Come here.
Okay. Come on up.
Come
Cole,
on up,
Tyler.
guys. Come on up.
Cole, come on up here, buddy.
These guys were awesome. And you know what's funny is we have a lighting here. We have we have one near an exit door, and they're like, "We got to get out of here. Can you move this light? We got to get our snacks."
And I did warn you, Tyler's pretty focused on stuff. It doesn't make a difference. You could have President of the United States on the phone interviewing him, and he's going to be like, "Excuse me, sir, the snacks
I need
are
my
over here.
snacks."
Snacks.
You haven't fixed this country in 40 years, anyways. Where's
Yeah,
my
nothing's
snacks?
going to happen. Come on now.
right,
Let's see
right,
the
right.
snacks. No sniffing. I just want my snacks. Sorry.
So speaking, you're also going to be playing at the local the night
yeah.
before.
The night before, we're going to do a little warm-up show with Billy Morris Band and Tough, and Bobby Brown will be doing an autograph signing and
Awesome.
a book signing at the local bar in Strongsville. Friday night, the night before.
You'll be playing with Tough, right?
No.
Oh wait, you got fired.
I did not get fired from Tough.
Oh, the rumors have been that you got fired from Tough.
No.
That's kind of a useful thing anyway. They kind of switch things around. That's the industry.
And
So,
knowing Stevie, he'll probably go with it now.
It kind of coincides with the police and firemen's dirt bike race at Amherst Meadowlarks. They booked my band, Billy Morris and Sunset Strip, to play this motocross fundraiser for the police and fire. They made these giant posters appearing live, Billy Morris, and I'm booked. I'm in. And then Tough got a big show out in Wisconsin opening for Hairball. Big.
That's
And
all.
I said, Stevie, I can't do it. So I recommended Dougie Licks Manross, our good friend, local guy, and
He's
so
been
he's
playing
gonna do
with
it.
you since when? 12?
11 or 12.
11
yeah,
or
he's
12, yeah.
But I just, people are thinking that I got the boot from Tough, but that's just not true. He's just going to be doing the dates that I can't do.
But, speaking of that, I remember whenever Dougie was like 11 or 12 and he was coming into the clubs playing, and like the security guys, he can't come in here. He's not 21. And we're like, dude, he's the show. But like everybody loved it.
And his dad would be with him.
Right,
his dad
right.
was
His
a
dad
fire
was always
plug.
with him.
Yeah.
But speaking of the local,
Hey, Bubba just said hi.
oh hi Bubba. I see Bubba like every now and then. because we're pretty much neighbors now. But speaking of the local, we have a good friend of ours, Kelly Brown, who was out with what was supposed to be a friend, and alcohol got involved.
Let me move my head so you can
Oh, there you go. So alcohol was involved in this incident, and her so-called friend ran her over with her vehicle. And it wasn't an accident. It was on purpose. That person, I'm not even going to give her the privilege of mentioning her name, because I think sometimes we glorify criminals too much. But luckily, she's been apprehended, and she's going to pay for what she did to Kelly. And Kelly is in a skilled rehabilitation center, kind of like what my wife is the director of nursing of. Not at her facility, but, same thing. And Kelly's back to talking to people now. And she's on Facebook interacting all the time, got visitors. But there's gonna be a fundraiser from the spa at Springfield. That's where she worked as a hairdresser. They're presenting karaoke for Kelly because Billy, from heavy metal karaoke days, dude, she would get up there and sing her ass off.
Yeah, and she'd walk right in where my band would be playing. She'd
Yeah.
give me a look. I'm like, come on, Kelly. And she'd get up there and sing
Dude.
Crazy Train or something.
And the people would go nuts. They loved it. But that fundraiser is going to be, let me pull it up here. It is going to be, oh my goodness, I had it here. Where is it? They don't have the date on here. Oh, I'm sorry, April 30th. I
can
can't
read?
I can't read. From 1 to 5 p.m. At the local in Strongsville, 14571 Pearl Road. It's going to be $50 to get in, but
Good.
it covers wings, pasta, salad, and drinks.
Great food at the local.
Yeah, great food.
April
And
30th, that's coming up.
Yep, and it's from 1 to 5 p.m. And whenever you get in there, it's going to be a big karaoke party. Because we know. And it broke my heart today, dude, because I've been talking to Kelly, and she says hi, by the way. She misses us. But it broke my heart. She's like, I want to go so bad, but my injuries are so bad that I can't go. And she said that they won't let me, even in a
Well,
wheelchair. And we get it, because we want her to be
stay, but
safe.
she's going to recover, and she'll be there sooner than
Right,
later.
exactly. So, Kelly, we're praying for you.
Maybe we'll do a Kelly Zoom interview coming up.
Yeah, maybe once she gets, back to normal, because some of the injuries were a little gruesome. She's already been through like 3 or 4 surgeries, I believe, on her spine. It's just a bad situation, and we're gonna get justice for you, because I'm gonna be there in that courtroom that day, and I'm gonna make sure my voice is heard that this person goes to prison for what they did, because the charges that they brought, sometimes they don't go to prison for it. And I'm just like, how can you run over someone with a vehicle intentionally and not serve any time? Like, that's ridiculous. But if you yell at your dog, the Animal Protective Services is there, and you're going to jail for a week or 2. But we're with you, Kelly, and she's doing great in her recovery, man. She's doing so good now. She's got visitors coming, and so we're rooting for you. Keep doing everything the doctor's saying. Hopefully, we'll get you out of there soon.
Absolutely. Our hearts are with Kelly.
Absolutely, that's our
All
friend,
right, man. Great show.
Hey.
We talked with a mayoral candidate,
Yeah.
Keith Mills from Akron.
Absolutely.
Brought Derek on for a great sipping for Reasons to Ride, and so many other good things going to be doing with us in the future. Can't wait for all that.
2 more things. 1, the Cavs are done. Down 3-1.
They're winning tomorrow, baby.
They might win tomorrow, but they're not winning this series. And if they do, congratulations. Maybe sometimes I have a jinx, so maybe I'll do the reverse psychology. You're not winning.
I'll let you know that they are playing tomorrow, and they're going to win. And that's why my show at Hooley House Brooklyn got rescheduled from Friday to Saturday. So we're not playing Hooley House Friday. We're playing Hooley House Brooklyn Saturday, because the Cavs will be playing in New York Friday, and they're going to win that game too.
Oh, my God. If they win and come back, that would be
Saturday
awesome.
works better for me, too, so I appreciate you switching that. It's good.
But real quick, because you know me, I like to debate people online.
Oh, shit.
So Morgan Wallen, Sunday night, lost his voice. He had a concert out in Mississippi on Saturday night. He lost his voice. He tried all day to get it back. He ended up canceling. He gave the people their money back, but obviously they're pissed, and if the fake friends are on there now. There's one lady suing him because she's like, well, all the money I spent on alcohol and my hotel and my drive and all that, I want my money back. And I'm like, really? He's not responsible for you buying alcohol. But anyways, there was rumors out there that he got drunk and had his stomach pumped and all that. But dude, it's 2023. You know this from being in the magazine business. If that dude was getting his stomach pumped as popular as this, there would be pictures all over the internet.
And it'd be on TMZ.
And, dude, you know how much money you would make if, let's say it was true and I took that picture. I could auction
Sell it
that.
to
I could
TMZ.
auction that picture off. I could be like, "Well, TMZ's offered me $1 million. What do you got?" You know what I mean? Like, but I wanted people to understand it. He did cancel the next 3 shows.
I will tell you this:
he makes $80,000 a show. Do you think that guy is going to cancel, or I'm sorry, reschedule? You think that guy's going to reschedule and miss out on $240,000?
I'll tell you the horror of being a lead vocalist and knowing that your vocals are gone and you have to go sing. It's horrifying. So, you can't expect to at that level go out there and not have a voice. And
well, not only that, but like, what if the dude goes, okay, I can't disappoint my fans, and he goes out there and he shreds his vocal cords, and then he's got to have surgery and he's done for a year, and then the fans are going to be like, well, why did you do that? Now I can't go watch you for a year because you might have ruined your career. You can't please people.
And now I'm going to sue you.
Now I'm going to sue you because dude, somebody paid $13,000 for 2 tickets to be in the pit.
Jesus,
$13,000.
And because they're the biggest fan,
Right.
and then of course they're going to turn on that.
Right, and now, dude, they're already like calling him a piece
I'm
of
the
trash.
biggest fan. Wait a second.
Right.
Picking up my bar tab.
Right.
What?
Exactly. Like, but that's what I wanted people to understand is like, and I wanted it coming from a true musician is like, they were like, one lady goes, well, why did they set his stuff up? I'm like, you think they just set up the drum kit and the stage in 5 minutes? But not only that, but like, I wanted people to hear from you. Like, people were saying, why didn't he cancel that day or whatever? They don't understand that he tried all day long to go on and went through the.
So I got an ending story for you. So
Perfect.
every other year, I usually play the Monsters of Rock cruise with the band Tough. And the last time we were on there, my friends from Canada, the Killer Dwarfs, were playing. And I was scheduled to perform with them, to jam with those guys in the theater at like midnight. So at about 11:45, I come down and I go to the backstage because I have my artist pass, And all of a sudden, like the cruise director, Larry Moran, he's like, "Oh, good, he's here." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, the singer's upstairs. He won't go on. He lost his voice, and he says he wants to talk to you. I think if you talk to him, you can get him up on stage." So I go up there, and he's doing what this guy was probably doing. He's drinking tea. He's got the steamer going. He's trying to clear his voice. He's doing everything he can, but he's like, I can't go on. I'm like, "Look," I said, "here's what's going to happen. You're going to go down there and get like 2,000 of your biggest fans out there expecting you to be out there. The adrenaline's going to hit you. You're going to come out. You're going to kick ass. I'm going to be by your side singing with you, and I'm going to help you out. We're going to jam. Let's put a show on for these people." He's like, "Okay, all right, I'm going to do it, So I walk downstairs, and I go to the guys. He's going on stage. And like, we didn't have any doubt. The Whoopie, they call me the Whoopie. The Whoopie came. The Whoopie showed up, and that's exactly what happened. He hit the stage. The adrenaline hit. The jack cut through a little bit, and he squeaked a few here and there, but he put the show on and got through it.
Right.
So sometimes the adrenaline will take over, but when you're on the level of that,
yeah, I mean, you're playing stadium tours. He
literally, he
just played.
He must have been really bad. To
exactly.
Yeah.
And then not only that, but then you can't. You reschedule the next 3 shows.
Yeah.
And I try to tell people there's no way that he's trying to cover up because the rumor was he got too drunk. There's no way that he's missing out on $240,000 that week just to cover the story of him really being drunk,
And you know what the only cure for that problem of his voice is? Sleep.
Yeah.
You're not going to take cough drops or cough medicine or gargle with salt water, all these stupid remedies. Honey, coat your throat with honey.
Right. Rest.
You need to go in a hotel room, turn the lights off, close the curtains, and sleep for
3 days. Yeah. Well, not
that's
only that, but like Billy, you know how it is being on the road. This guy just dropped a 36-song album, and he's been going nonstop since then. So let the guy be human, because there's too many times, that they think you guys are robots. And if they knew the truth behind touring, they would get it, because it's a job. It's not
a
just
job. I will tell you somebody that never lost their voice. Kevin Dubrow, Quiet Riot.
Okay.
He would sing up in that stratosphere screaming, "Come on, feel the..." And every night, bring it and never lose his voice.
That's awesome, though. All right. On that note, it was a great show. Thank you so much for coming on, man. And I wish you the best of luck.
I appreciate it.
And
Thanks
with
for
your
having me.
magazines and everything. Oh, one more thing we talked about off the air. The stuff with the tattoo shows. You're going to...
Oh, yeah.
You want to...
Yeah, we got a lot of tattoo parties coming up. I tell you, if you got some ink, even if it's like a cheesy tribal tattoo or something like that, we got these things popping up all over the place. And honestly, they're getting more momentum than some of the bike shows that we have.
Yeah.
Where people come out there, they showcase their ink. And it's a great way for local artists to recognize the folks that are supporting them and the canvas they've created and show off the work. So we invite people to come up, we show off their ink. And instead of like the traditional tattoo shows where there's like 4 judges and you come up and they're the only ones that see the ink,
Yeah.
it's all crowd.
That's
so
awesome.
everybody, it's the greatest icebreaker. Everybody shows their ink off. We plug the artists. And it's just a great time. And those things are popping up all over the place. We're actually doing one in Southeast Harley-Davidson coming up. We do one at Zeppi's. We got them popping up all over.
That's
we
out
got
in
them
Chardon,
next month.
right?
Yeah, and then we got one in Zanesville at Fink's Harley-Davidson. We've done that one for 4 years now. This will be the 4th one. And we get people that come... We get shops and artists that come from 4 or 5 hours away for these things, which is crazy.
Big deal to
But it's a
them.
good time.
Yeah.
It's a great time.
Well, you hear that, Mike Martini? Zeppi's, right in your backyard.
Square City, we're coming for you. Come
There
on
you
out.
go.
Join us
Yeah.
right around the corner
Square
from you.
City Tattoo.
Yep. That's where I just got my ink done a couple weeks ago.
Why don't you take your shirt off and let's see it?
I'm not going to take my shirt off.
We don't need all that.
But
It's all good.
I'll show you the ink he did. So
Oh,
this
that's
is for
sweet.
my kids. So my son's autistic. My daughter's a softball player, so he put the softball in the arm.
That's awesome.
And then my son's a gamer, so we put, instead of Nintendo, we put his name, and then we made it into
That's
Ozo.
sweet.
Yeah.
That's
Mike
really
Martini's one of the best out there.
All right, I'm
so
going to show you my ink.
Yeah.
All right, what does that say?
28B.
28B.
Yep.
I was flying to Mexico to play with Quiet Riot for the Monterey Metal Fest. It was Quiet Riot, Dokken, Dio, Twisted Sister. And I had I had some bad experiences flying, just sitting next to nasty people. So I look at my ticket, 28B. I'm the last one on there. I look down 28 rows and I see the most beautiful woman in the world. And it was my wife, Leah. I met her. I sat next to her. She was 28A. I was 28B.
That is so cool.
So you heard it here first if you didn't know the story. So
You must
Admittedly,
have-
I've always
you must
wondered,
have-
like how you guys met, because you guys
Yeah.
are really cool.
Yeah.
You must have
That's
had your
awesome.
hair done really good that day.
I was looking.
She wasn't like a fan from the crowd.
Well, here's the funny thing. Beautiful girl next to me. I'm like, hey, I was in Warrant still. I'm like, I play in the band Warrant. She's like, who's that?
Right from the beginning, she put you in your place.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Oh, she's too young. I'm like, this song. No, I don't know those songs. Like, Heaven Isn't Too Far. Oh, I know that from my Monster Ballads CD. Because all the girls had the Monster Ballads, So then we became friends, and going on 19 years later, 3 beautiful boys, and we lived together and married in Bay
pretty
Village,
cool.
and I'm the happiest guy in the world.
That's right.
There, you heard it here.
Broke
first.
hearts all across America with that, but that's all right. So, folks would tell me that, well, Billy's out there.
All right. Thanks for tuning to the Billy and Merle Show, featuring Derek from Reasons to Ride.
Boom.
Look for his new podcast coming up real soon.
With these guys.
Check out this magazine.
Yeah, and all my Akron friends, go out and vote for Keith Mills on Tuesday, May the 2nd. Guy sounds like he wants to bring some change. Let's do this. Thanks for tuning in.
Without voting, so
Yeah,
get out
you
there
can't
and vote.
exactly get out and vote. If you're the people that get out there and talk about voting or talk about changes and you don't vote, zip it. Get out and
Later.
vote.